They say that every great achievement is the result of 1001 moments of courage. So here's one for today. The Dutch have built a country that doesn't exist. No, seriously, 26% of their land lies below sea level, and none of it is on any continent. They made it. But how did they do it? You won't believe me? Well, let me show you. Welcome to this channel. Before we get started, click the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our videos. Here's how the Dutch forged their land against the sea. In the early Middle Ages, northern Europe was covered by dense forests, home to wild animals and guarded by thick, impenetrable swamps. This region, known as the Low Countries, or simply Holland, had one big problem. It was too wet for the people who lived there at the time. Building houses was a challenge because no structure could withstand the mud. There was a lot of flooding and the soil was unhealthy, causing serious diseases. Furthermore, the climate was mild and wet, perfect for growing crops. Farmers wanted to drain the marshes to turn them into pastures for their animals, but the water had nowhere to go. It just kept coming. However, over time, the residents of the Low Countries discovered that there was a way to deal with this troublesome water. They could use it to their advantage. First, they dug ditches and built small dams to enclose parts of the land and pump the water out. Then they planted poplars along the edges of the water bodies to prevent soil erosion. Over time, these trees took root, strengthened the banks, and helped create artificial islands called polders. The inhabitants of the Low Countries learned how to farm these lands, but they quickly encountered another problem: floods. Once a year, strong winds from the North Sea flooded the region, destroying everything in their path. People had to flee their homes and look for refuge elsewhere until the water receded. Entire villages sometimes disappeared under several feet of water. But the people weren't going to accept defeat, so they came up with a plan to build dikes and protect themselves from the floods. The dikes were so effective that the Low Countries became the most densely populated area in Europe, except for Russia. And since then, every 100 years or so, the whole country needed to be rebuilt from scratch due to catastrophic flooding. However, the local residents didn't stop there. They continued to drain the marshes and make more polders, which increased agricultural productivity and improved living conditions. And when the need arose to defend their land from the sea, they got to work. From the 12th to the 16th century, the Dutch began building large dikes and dams across the rivers flowing into the sea. These efforts resulted in the creation of the Hindelopen, an enclosed inland lake. In the 13th century, they built harbors, trading posts, and docks, which turned the cities into important hubs for trade and commerce. But the construction of the harbors led to another problem. Since the 15th century, the Low Countries had become one of the most important trading centers in Europe. Because of its strategic location, the North Sea raged outside the harbors, weakening the dikes and threatening to flood the land. People knew that if they couldn't fix the dikes, the North Sea would break through and destroy everything. So they made one of the largest public works projects in history. The job was so massive that it required the efforts of the entire population. Kings and peasants alike worked side by side to complete the project. But after 5 long decades, they finally succeeded. They built a dike system that protected the land from the fury of the North Sea. Now, despite the fact that the Netherlands seems like a tiny country, it's actually the second biggest in Europe. That's right, France is bigger than it looks. Despite being almost completely submerged, the Netherlands is the second biggest in Europe after Russia. But don't tell anyone about it. So, do you think you could live in the Netherlands? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And that's all for today. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching and see you soon.